Now let's take our cycles one step further by animating on top of them. I've gone ahead and finished off the cycle that I had before. I found a couple of glitches in the head, the spine, and the arms, and I went ahead and smoothed out those transitions, and this is what I have. So I've got a pretty smooth cycle here. Now this cycle will run forever because I've got the f-curves set to infinity. So basically they will repeat as long as I want. So if I were to say go to 150 frames, it'll repeat just as much as if I were to go to 1050 frames. Now what I can do is I can bake this animation into a control rig and then use animation layers to animate on top of that. But the key here is that I need to decide how many frames I want. Whatever number of frames are in this timeline will be the number of frames that are baked. It's not going to bake an infinite number of frames. You have to set it to the proper number. So let's just keep this at 150 and go ahead and bake this to a control rig. And when I do, we have a very nice control rig. And now the control rig has the animation. So if I select any one of these controls, you're going to see that I have one key per frame, which is basically how we do it when we bake animation. But just like before, I can add an animation layer. So I can go down here, add animation layer, and I can animate on top of this cycle. So this can actually be really nice because you can take a basic animation cycle and then just start animating on top of it. So let's say I want to take this arm, take a keyframe here, and let's go ahead and just bring it up here, and then maybe just bring it back. So now I've got a standard cycle here, and now again I've got an animation layer on top of it adding to that. And let's say we wanted to maybe add another layer and work with his head. So now he's walking and his head moves along with the arm. So let's go ahead and set another key and rotate that head. And then maybe look the other way, tilt the head, and then just move it back. So really whatever we want to do. And again, the animation layer underneath, that's our original cycle. And so as you can see, we can animate on top of that cycle to add some variation to it. And if we wanted to, we could actually bake all of this back down to another layer and again repeat the process. So as you can see, creating cycles is a fairly straightforward process. We need to get the character walking in place along an axis, and then we bake to the skeleton and cycle the f-curves. And then if we want, we can take that and use that data for other things such as animation layers. So go ahead and create your own cycles and use them in your own projects.